because you didn't see this coming. So I'm talking to the class, right? And it's this young man that I asked a question to, and the way he answered it was flawless. And I said something to him about it. And then they were like, well, you know, he has a business. And I said, oh, you do? And he was like, yeah. I said, what kind of business you got? He said, natural juices. Now, everybody know me. Right. You talking my language now. And he started breaking it down. I got juice of ginger and so-and-so and this and that. And I said, really? What? And he said, yeah, you know this and that. We'll get you some before you leave here today, Uncle Tony. I say, what? And then one of the administrators leaned over and say, you know, that's their son. Right. It's got the juice business. I said, well, I should have known, little Rockefeller. Exactly. What was going on in here, little Damon John, little Shark Tank. That's why you so polished around here. But you should feel good about that.
We're very proud of SJ's Everyday Juice. We are extremely proud. And you asked the question about all the teachers invested. So this is how I love so much the teachers are invested. Our son was having a meltdown about something in class, and he didn't understand it, and he was all in his feelings. And sure enough, his teacher, Miss Elliott, said to him, when you are faced with a challenge in your business, SJ's Everyday Juice, is this the way you behave? And he said, no, I have to pull it together because I have orders to make. And she said, so you have to pull it together because you have to learn this academic lesson that I'm teaching you.
Oh, yeah.
And so, and Miss Elliott is able to use, and other teachers use, the information of what the students have in their businesses to work for them.
Yeah.
And it's lessons in life all around.
Man, it's your approach.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
It is so many different ways to educate somebody. And I notice you keep using the word educate. So that's time for me to do my little analogy that I do every time. There's a difference between being educated and being trained in your thinking. If a seal come out the water and bounce a ball on his nose and throw it to the trainer, and the trainer throw him some fish, and he go up under the water and eat all the fish, that's a trained seal. But if a seal come out the water and throw the ball to the trainer, and the trainer throw the seal some fish, and he go up under the water and feed his family, that's an educated seal. So educating is different than being trained in your thinking. In the traditional school system in these United States is based on memorization and being trained in your thinking. But if you listen, ladies and gentlemen, to these two people in ACE Academy, there's education going on over there, and you can see it.
Definitely.
You can see it in front with them kids.
So I want to ask, and I want to thank everyone who has been hanging in with us for any of the technical difficulties that you've been seeing going on. And I appreciate you all, too, being so kind and patient. But what I loved about the school when we visited was the fact of the creativity in your teaching and how you're teaching the kids entrepreneurship. You are, to me, implementing different things that are not in other schools.
Yes.
Even when I was going to school, they did offer cosmetology, so I was able to take that. But I never knew about building a business or starting a business and having real, candid conversations. I know with other schools, we've gone in and there's a strict protocol that you have to go by, and don't go over here to the left and don't go too far to the right. You all were so open and welcoming and saying, come on in and talk to the students, be real with them. Is that a choice that you all made and stuck to? Because, or I mean, how are you able to be so creative within your school and teaching these children?
Well, I could jump on that.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, you know, with Lila, she's very creative, right? Because we come from a fashion background. We created, different lines and couture line where we had all these different celebrities wearing our clothes and different things in that nature. So she came in with the mindset to have this open-minded thing for the children. And then I came in the business component of it, where I'm like, listen, we're not going to just learn book information. You need to learn hands-on. Like, you need to really know how to do this. And by doing that, it kind of opened up their brain cells, because now, instead of just beating them in the head with learning, now they see they have a product.
Right.
And the product, and now I'm making money So the mentality of the whole school, or the, you know, especially our young moguls who are in the schools, you know, they're doing fabulous and doing well. The mentality of the kids in the school is totally different than you have at a traditional school.
Absolutely.
It's totally different.
Absolutely.
And we've always wanted guests to come into our school because our kids will learn by seeing other people that look like them, sound like them, come from the same places, and learn about different occupations. And one thing we always teach our kids is that whatever it is you choose to do, you could be an entrepreneur or you could work for somebody else, but let's determine what skill sets you have.
Yes.
Everybody
Right.
is born with a
Yes.
set of skill sets that can take them to the next level, and you can monetize that. And we want our kids to learn that at a young age. It
Right.
doesn't mean that you have to do this for the rest of your life, but if you're great at public speaking, then you should be exposed to an industry of public speaking.
Yeah.
If you're great at drawing, you should be exposed to what kind of occupations will take you in the field of artistic arts and so forth. And why wait to college to
Yeah.
waste your parents' money
Right.
to figure out what you want to do when you could learn that when
Yeah.
you're 7, 8, 9 years old? I mean, that's something I didn't have for myself as a child, which had me lead in so many different directions and feel lost for so many years, and I don't want that for our children. I want to help change their community, change their family's community, and make them have a sense of purpose and lift their self-esteem
Okay. Oh,
at a
yeah.
young age.
Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear what's going on here? ACE
I hope they hear.
Academy,
I
like
swear
the Ace of
they can.
Spades, baby. When you got that, you hold on to it, you throw it on the table because you know when you got that ace. I want to say something real quick. When Yolanda was asking about, like, did you do that on your own about when you bring speakers in? And let me tell you something. I have spoke at hundreds of schools, colleges, institutions of higher learning. And when I heard you say college, and you don't need to wait until you get to college to figure it out, I'm going to say something tonight that somebody is not going to agree with, but let's debate. College is not the place that's going to help you figure it out. Because first of all, if you ain't going to a HBCU, you're already behind the 8 ball because you're on somebody else's time and somebody else's system. I want you to think about this. Why should you have to go to school for 4 years and earn a degree, and when you come out of that school, you still are not in the situation to open your own business, own and run your own business? You got to go work for somebody else some more years, get another degree, and you still ain't ready unless you play sports. That's different. But I'm talking about academic. These kids are getting a head, and when I say head start, I'm talking about the kind of head start that when you was the fastest kid on your street. You know what I'm talking about? You told my man, go on, y'all go. I'm gonna start running. When you get to the tree, that's when I'm gonna take off, and I'm gonna still catch you. That's what they're getting. That's what they're getting. And you can't beat it. You can't put a price on that. You can't beat that. And what you need to do is you need to find more administrators, more people like this that have an investment in your kids' future. Not just what's going on now. In the whole gamut. I bet you got kids that leave that school and later on, I bet you it's a boomerang effect. I bet you they
We have that now. We have that now. We have alumni students that have businesses. One invited us. She has a henna business, and her mom runs.
You say Hennessy?
No, I said henna.
That's a great business still.
She has a henna business, and her mom runs Vegan Fest, which is a festival that comes every year. And the young lady she does her henna
talking about Kennedy?
business. That's right. She went to our school.
Christy Love's daughter.
That's right.
Wow, yes.
You know how she sets up that Vegan Fest and does the henna?
Yep.
Yes.
So that
ma'am.
baby, she's a graduate of our school.
Yes.
We have another one, Unira. She has a nail business, and she's working in our school in our after-school program, a high school student, and she started her business when she graduated. So we have a lot of kids that have graduated that have businesses, and it's helping fund their life and fund their lifestyle.
That is excellent. That is excellent. What about the parents? Who the parents of the kids at the school? Do you get support? Do you get any pushback?
We get a lot of support. So for example, we do a lot of different festivals at the school, And what happened is the kids that are selling their businesses, the parents will show up and actually sit down with them and help them sell and different things like that. So it brings the parents together with the kid.
Right.
It brings together. So I had one mother says to me, she says, wow, she saw the crowd. It was crowded out there at our school. And she said, wow, I'm going to invest more money into my son's business to do X, Y, Z. So prior to that, she didn't really understand. She knew he was making a little bit of money,
right,
but she didn't understand the big vision of it until she saw it with her own eyes. And then she realized, like, okay, you gave him the initial investment. He has all the products, but now I need to do my part as a parent, and et cetera. So it brought them together.
That's beautiful.
A lot of parents are surprised. They're surprised because they don't expect this from their children until they see them in the position, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, they really are." They just told me they wanted some tie dye to buy them some tie dye for Walmart, and I see they really making shirts and selling shirts.
Making money.
One thing we don't want you to think is that we are sitting here creating a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory environment. This is what I mean by that. We haven't talked about anything disciplinary. We hadn't talked about anything negative. We hadn't talked about anything where we say, well, kids are going to be kids.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Okay, well, let me interject that. In an elegant way. When I went and talked to these kids, it was all about kids are going to be kids.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw that early.
Oh, yeah.
Ain't no different. Kids are going to be kids. Some going to listen. Some are not. Some are going to play. Some are going to be on the phone. But this is what I also saw. If you can make a connection,
Oh, yeah.
and they start to trust what you say,
Oh, yeah.
you will see the attitude and the energy change right in front of you. I had the worst ones. They told me, sis, they say this class is coming right here. I heard they said, no, this class is coming right here. This is how you're going to have to go at them. I said, okay. I got it. First thing I said is, hey, listen, I heard it's a problem going on in here, so and so and so. Whoa. Is it you? Because they said, well, no, it's her. Oh, it's both of y'all. And we started deflecting by the end of the time that we were talking. And I never want to leave. Yolanda always tell you that. You always got to tell me, all right, Tom, okay. But there was so much love in the room. Because this is what I noticed. I know. Y'all look at them statistics. Y'all look at the TV and the media. I get it. But these schools have so much energy and love in that. If you would just put yourself in somebody else's situation, back when you were a kid.
Absolutely.
And then go in there with that love and that trust. Because now it ain't even Tone X no more. It ain't Mr. Tone. It is Uncle Tone. Those are my nephews, my nieces' pieces. I told them all. I say, listen, I'm your uncle. You can ask me for $10. That's your limit. I don't go more than $10. And one I was like, okay, Uncle Tone, but let me take you to the store.
That's right.
So you can buy $10 worth of stuff. I said, oh, these kids is something else over here. So it's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing, and I can't speak enough about ACE Academy, and I look forward to going back over there. I think we're going to go over there and
I was going to say you have some creative things that are coming up soon, right, in February. What is that about?
So we have Entrepreneurship Week. It's an annual week every year in February. It's National Entrepreneurship Week, and during that week we really rev up all of the things that we do in entrepreneurship. And so that's one of the weeks where we invite guests to talk to our kids about their different businesses and industries they're in. It could be virtual as well as in person. We have a schedule. The kids are exposed to all different types of businesses. Last year they met a pilot, they met a professional cheerleader, they met a fashion stylist, and this is COVID. They met a basketball player, they met a fashion designer. So we're always, we want anybody in the community that has any kind of business or a career that our kids would never think to aspire to. We want them to come and talk to our kids. We want them to ask questions. We want them to interview the individuals. You can bring your products. And so we do that from Monday through Thursday. And then on Friday, our Young Moguls Club, those are our individual students in our school that really are prepared to sell their products for their businesses. So we have kids that have aspirations and they're still working toward their business goals. But then we have kids, like we mentioned earlier, that have full-fledged businesses. And so our Young Moguls will actually sell their business products in the school on Friday to our school community. So that's that's one of the ways we're celebrating entrepreneurship.
That's
That was a great question, Yolanda. Great on point because she saw me going to the left. I was talking about how much I love the kids. Like, okay, you have a entrepreneur. Listen, I can feel the energy right now coming through the phones, coming through TV, whatever you're looking, because somebody is saying, I would love for my kid to go to Ace Academy. What? Not the ages, but what are the grades that you have at your schools?
The grades are kindergarten through 8th grade, and we're working on a preschool in the future. Okay. And so we have our parents now that ask for us for a high school, but we're not ready.
So you're not ready for that.
We're not ready.
I told Yolanda when I got home, I said, them 6th, 7th, and 8th graders was like high school. They don't need to go up to no high school. I said, that wasn't a high school class. I was talking to. I thought I was high school.
No, we're not ready for a high school, but we love our kindergarten through 8th grade babies. You would think that it's all about what we provide to them, but secretly the people that's really working in school is what they provide to us.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yes.
Well, it's funny that you say that. Just to piggyback off what you're saying, it's like, I have a 6th grader right now. He's when I say he's enthusiastic all day long, he's ready. I mean, like Tone, when I say he's ready, I'm talking about as soon as I leave out the class, he's right there waiting for me. Every day. He's waiting, he's talking to me, he's got his business going, he's got everything going. So when I look at him and see the twinkle in his eyes and that spark, I say to myself all the time, man, I was just like that. I was the same way when I was in 6th grade, when I started my first business venture in New York, selling clothes and jewelry, oils, incense on the train station. I was one of those kids.
I knew it was New York.
Yeah,
right.
I heard it from the Bronx.
I knew it.
Straight from the Bronx.
Yes, I knew it. Yesterday's price is not today's price. I knew it.
Yeah. So I was the same way. So, what I've learned, in the last year and a half, just being in the school, because when we first started the school, Lila was she's the director of the school. I was on the board. So I was like, well, I don't really have time. I'll just stay on the board. I want you guys to do well. I'm gonna look, make sure the money's right, make sure everything's good.
Right.
But I don't have time to be in the school at all. We got money to make. I got money to make. So she kept beating me in the head every day. You need to get into school. How are we gonna get this entrepreneurship program booming if we don't have you in there to actually help it boom?
Right.
And so I was like, I was reluctant to do it because I was like, I'm not, I didn't want to be a teacher all day long. I didn't have time. So we customized, of course, my schedule that I come for maybe 2 or 3 hours a day. And then I'm able to, teach the kids entrepreneurship. But what it's done for me, it's motivated me even more now because I actually see the effects of what we're doing.
You cause and effect. Labor.
I mean, these kids are calling me at 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Once you give them your phone number, forget about it. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's a wrap. Oh, it's a wrap. They're calling you on Saturday. They're calling you on Sunday. They have all these questions. I need this. I have a pop-up shop coming up this week at such and such in Charlotte. I have this. So you sitting back going, now you become a fan. Right? You sitting there and go, really? You got the pop-up shop this week? Oh, yeah, I have this, I have that. I made $900 this week. I did this, I did right this weekend. So now I'm saying to myself, what did we started here?
Yeah, you know
what I mean? So it's like, what did we really start here?
Yeah.
And then I started to really think about it because they started swarming me and I had kids coming, I need $800, I need $1,000, I need it. And then I realized to myself, all right, I had to go get my 100 million now.
Exactly.
Because now I'm motivated even more seeing the energy, that energy and love. Because we're more than just a business school in a sense.
Right.
We're a family.
You are.
Where you have these connections with these children, the parents, and different things like that. And I've had parents come up to me and say, listen, I know my daughter's, in the Young Mogul program, they're making money. I want to start my business. What do I need to do?
That's right.
So now we're getting questions on that level.
Parents
Coming up wanting to know, how do they make money?
Wow.
How do I invest?
Wow.
My parents asked me questions about investments, stocks, and bonds and different things like that. So then it really hit me, and I was, saying, well, okay, once we start the Young Mogul, which we launched about a month ago, the young moguls. We have a bunch of kids that own businesses in the school, but we have a specific group. We have about 30, almost 40 kids, 30 to 40 kids in the young moguls. And I said, okay, what we're going to do with them is not only we're going to show the world the example of how this game can really be played,
right?
And what we thought, or what I pushing for is not only do we have them making money, Tone and Yolanda, but now we're going to take that money and put it in the market as well. Stop.
Yeah.
So they're going to build wealth.
Yep.
So not only they're going to get money, then we're going to get this wealth too.
Get that wealth.
We're going to get the wealth too. Young.
I love it.
And
We're going to get young.
And you talking about, see, now you say wealth.
Yeah, we're going to get this wealth.
Something that can be talking about generational
Generational wealth.
And that's what it's
That's right.
about.
information, because information is the new currency.
It is.
Yeah.
A lot of kids can't get this.
That's
Yes.
right.
And their parents don't know.
Exactly.
So they can't hand them nothing. Let me
Exactly.
show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And this is a segue into the pandemic and COVID, because we want to know how that affected you as well at the school. When Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, when Pfizer came into the game with COVID and doing the research on the vaccine, they were 0%. They were rock bottom. When they got them $1 billion contracts,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
we saw
Oh, yeah.
a $1 billion contract
Yeah.
to help you in your research.
Yeah.
The stock market saw what you do.
Yeah.
$1 billion investment in your company. Mean it's a return coming.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, big
We didn't catch it. I told Yolanda one night, I said, do you know that Pfizer and Moderna stock went up 200%?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know how many people
Trillions.
were sitting one day with this in it,
Yeah.
And now
found out they knew this, put this in it,
Yeah.
and 2 months later was doing this
Yeah.
Absolutely.
off of the vaccine, off of these
vaccine,
companies.
right.
And the thing is, why I get passionate about it, because I'm upset about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, so you gonna let the ones who know.
Oh, yeah.
But you see us out here struggling.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And you ain't even gonna give us a hint that we could have put $100 in,
Oh, yeah.
and 200% later, you ain't even gonna let us know that. So when you talk about that, that's why it's such a big deal. Stocks.
Yeah.
We don't. Most black families
No.
ain't talking about no
Absolutely.
stocks.
Especially not at a school level.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? From
Yeah.
going to what you have second grade to
Kindergarten to 8th grade. Kindergarten to 8th
We're
grade.
not hearing anything about
Yeah.
that or understanding even how to balance finances or
Yeah.
make finances
Yeah.
and do things like you said that they can go home and even
Yeah.
teach their parents about.
Yeah. Well, the idea really came out for our own son because he owns a lot of stocks. So he's got his business
And
plan.
it's because his parents and his grandparents invested
Yeah.
in him. And
Yeah.
so we're teaching him young
Yeah.
about saving and
Yeah.
what his future looks
Generational
like. And absolutely.
Tell my
And so-
nephew I need to talk to you. You tell him I didn't have long enough last time, but when I come back, I need him to get pulled out of class to come talk to his office.
At 9 years old. So, I mean, he's got like a 5-figure stock portfolio already. So
That is
at 9. So
phenomenal.
at 9.
9 years old.
So we're already setting him up. My goal is to make him a multimillionaire by the time he's 21 anyway.
Yeah.
That's the goal regardless.
And you
right?
see them stories.
Yeah.
You see them
then
stories
We
all the
teach
time.
It
him,
happens.
we teach
It
him
happens.
at the end of the day, whatever he wants to do, or any of the kids, whatever you want to do, even if you have to do it for somebody else in the beginning because you
Yeah,
need
you
to
learn.
learn it.
You learn.
Eventually, you should do it for yourself. And I tell him all the time, the reason you should do it for yourself is because you can then change your community.
Yeah.
One of
Yeah,
the
big
things
time.
I'm most proud of
big
is
time.
having some of the staff members that have been with me, one in particular, for almost 20 years. We've been together for 15 years. She helped us start our first business and
Yeah.
helped us start this school. And then we have others that have come along the way that they are invested in ACE Academy, not because of Sean and myself, but because of what we're doing in the community for the
Oh, yeah.
kids.
For the kid, yeah.
This is a labor of love. This is God's work. I mean,
yeah.
for what we're doing for our kids, educating them, giving them some place where people love on them and know them
Yeah.
and recognize them and tell them that you are somebody. And then the fact that you get skill sets that you can learn how to make
yeah.
money, that's nothing
yeah.
but a blessing.
Right.
That's nothing but a blessing.
A big blessing. You heard they say God, and me and Yolanda always say, and we understand, if you move and you set an intention, and you move, and money is not the intention,
Oh, no.
right?
No.
Then the universe sees your heart.
Yeah, and knows how to respond.
And knows your energy.
Yeah.
And responds
That's
right.
to what you are doing.
That's
because
facts.
You can't see the bigger picture.
Absolutely.
It will blow your mind.
It's true.
So you move into it, and then, like you say, you look back and you say, "Man, what have we done?
Yeah, what we done?
What have we started?" You started.
We can never look back. We can't turn back now.
That's
right.
The
They
universe
waiting.
won't let you tell. You got some great comments over here. I'm gonna go to the screen. First of all, Green's Bloom reflects our. We all love Kennedy.
Yes.
And somebody needs to tell me what it. Okay, there you go, Lyles. Lakers 100, Nets 87.
Yes.
That fourth quarter. Okay, I'm talking to y'all like I'm on the phone. Let me see. My babies are grown, almost 30 adults that I had, and they still be on you because of the love. Love this. Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
My son was part of the opening year. This is Janie.
Oh, wow.
I remember them growing from elementary to middle school. Lyles say there is no sound. Lyles, your volume is down.
Yeah, you got
Get your life together, Lyles. Get your life together.
There's sound now,
At
lads.
that time, his teacher stayed with him from 1st to 5th grade. Ms. Robinson,
Okay.
his old school teacher.
She is.
Loved her teaching. Oh, wow. Lamar Parker. I have the sound now. I had to log out. Okay, well, however you did it, I'm glad you did. And I'm glad y'all were listening.
Yes.
That's great.
Very glad you all are listening. So for parents that are watching that would love to have their kids be a part of ACE Academy, how can they do that? Are you accepting any students? Is there like a waiting list to get into
We
the
have a
school?
wait list. I'm not sure if it's in every grade. I know we do have a wait list, especially in particular grades. We're obviously enrolling for kindergarten. We do every year because our kindergarten babies are promoted to first grade. You can just go to www.aceacademycharter.org and you can fill out the application online, and our registrar will get back to you. And we want to expand. We have 400 students enrolled in our school. Our goal is to get to about 500. That's what our current location can hold. We own our building, our school building.
Which is
And
right.
we own our
We own that
building.
again.
We own our school building.
Hand claps, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we ain't leasing nothing over there.
We own our school building, and we want to build a preschool on it. We still have some space to do construction. And one good thing that we've been blessed is that we're our business owners, so we understand our business is school, and so we take calculated risk. We do not do things that put the school in jeopardy. There have been other charter schools that have gyms and all this fancy equipment, and I know them personally, and they're in huge amounts of debt.
Yeah.
And so our goal is to grow slowly.
Yeah.
You know, they say the turtle wins the race, and that's what
Yes.
we're going to do, and we're going to serve our kids in the process, and we're going to create legacies along the way.
Boy, let me give a hand clap for that.
Give them a hand.
What's the best food? What's the best food when your grandma used to cook? She's put on the crock pot, turn it down low. But she said she's gonna slow cook it.
That's right.
So when you talk about slow, that slow cooking, that microwave mentality,
Yes.
that quick cook,
Yeah.
we gonna put the pinto beans on, and we gonna go to church. And when I come home, I will show you something. What is the age?
Kindergarten through 8th grade.
But what's the age for an 8th grader?
An 8th grader is usually about 12 years old.
Yeah, 12 to 13.
5 to 12.
12 to 13.
See, my son is 12. And I'm trying to find a way to tell him that we don't want to go where he going no more. I believe I want to go wake him up tonight when I get home and say, we're done with that school. In the morning, I'm going to take you somewhere where you're going to learn some things.
So our goal is to expand our Young Moguls program. At one point, we wanted to open up multiple schools, but there's so many things that we can do within our school, absolutely, in terms of adding the preschool and the high school. So one way that we want to leverage our Young Moguls in the community is to open it up from a community perspective,
Yes.
and give other kids in the community that have potential businesses the opportunity to learn and participate in our Young Moguls. And so that's something that we're going to add to the equation as well.
That's excellent.
Yes. And we, by doing that, it'll allow us to be able to touch kids, whether they're in New York, New Jersey, California, where now you can buy into the Young Moguls program and learn how to start your business from scratch as well. Because there's so many kids out here that want to be entrepreneurs, but they don't have the opportunities.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And so we realized that if we create a program in itself, we can take this program and take it around nationally, around the world, around America, but then internationally take it as well. Because there's people all over the world that want to be business owners. They want it. And so we're going to be that flagship for them.
And it's a commitment for families as well. When we started our Young Moguls Club, we had meetings with parents, and they have to be committed to supporting their child's business. They don't have to put up no money, but they got to be committed to it. We also let them know you can't take the profits of your child's business.
Please don't.
You got to tell them that.
That's right, because the child needs
real.
to reinvest back into their business.
Right.
We want you to support by bringing them to the different opportunities for them to be vendors. So kids can't drive, so we need you to drive them there. And so we're not asking a lot from parents, but we are asking parents to commit and support their child's businesses, because kids will not be successful if they don't have the parent support and the family support. Kids will not be successful if they do not have the family support. That is a fact. That's a fact.
That is 100. We keeping it a buck, like my man Tariq Nasheed say. We keeping it a buck. And listen, you heard her say, you tell the parents, you can't be out here spending your kids' money.
I was going to ask, do you help them set up an account, like business accounts, so that way their money can be protected when
we're in the process of doing that. Our next Young Moguls meeting is actually this Saturday at the school, and the one we have in February is we have a relationship with a bank, and the parents have to come to the school and bring the documentation so our kids can open up bank accounts or minor bank accounts. And so, and they'll be free for the kids. They won't have to pay any fees.
Student accounts.
So we're showing them and giving them an opportunity to where they can actually save their money. And so we want them to be successful for the long haul. And this came up because we had a graduate, successful business owner, Dariella Sweets, and she made over $5,000 last school year. She graduated. She's been on the news talking about her business. She started her business in the height of the pandemic. She got a mixer from her grandmother for her birthday and always wanted to bake cakes, and she turned it into a full-fledged business.
She never looked back.
And and she's actually coming to the school this Saturday to be our leader, our business leader, to talk to her peers or her younger peers about how she started her business.
Yeah, that's great.
And one day I was talking to her, and I said, how much money do you have, or how much money have you made in your business? This is last year before she graduated. And she said she didn't know. And I said, well, don't you have a bank account? And she didn't. And that's when I was like, okay, we are, as much as we're doing for you, we're still not doing enough for you to be able to track your expenses and so forth. And so our Young Moguls going to be able to sell stuff on our website. We're setting up for them to be able to have invoices, for them to track their orders, for them to be able to go back to repeat customers, and as well as for them to be able to save their money. And this is why we need the family support, because your money is your money. I don't want to be responsible for your orders. I want to help you sell, and I'll let you sell off our website for free. You don't have to pay for nothing. But I don't want to be responsible, because it's your money, and you need to learn how to manage it. Exactly. And so this is why we need the parent support and parent commitment for our scholars to be successful.
And when you start becoming a part of the money and what's going on, they start looking at you. Well, what happened? Well, so and so and so. And I just want to say this because I'm going to get a little chuckle off of this story. Non-traditional story about parents stealing money. When we hear that, we always say, here we go. There we go. You know how we do with that money. It's a shame how we do our kids. I don't know if you're familiar with a young man named Aaron Carter. Aaron Carter is a Caucasian kid who was a singer. Started at an early age, killing the charts, killing them, touring, this and that. I just read an article on him last week. He said his parents took $130 million from him. You see what I mean? From him. Okay? Now, if he took 130,
how much did he make?
This is from like that age at his school, that age, performing all the way up past teens, all the way in your 20s. You see all of that money accumulated, but just like she said, Well, yeah, you got an account.
Yeah.
You making the
If they
money,
don't
but
understand
now your
the finance.
parents is
Yeah.
overseeing because they're your parents.
Exactly.
And you're 9 or 10
Yeah.
or 11.
Yeah.
And they
Taken.
Taken from it.
and you don't even know till you get older and you say, "Hey,
I don't have anything. You don't have anything.
now
And
you got to take your
worked.
parents to court."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
and it
what they do.
happens. It happens, and it's unfortunate.
Very
It
much
is.
so.
It is.
Britney Spears going through the same thing.
She
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the same
I was trying to let her live. Okay, I was trying to let her live. I didn't want to go there with Britney.
She going through the same thing. So her
Same
father
thing.
took a lot.
Yeah, and you can tell it has not only affected her mentally,
Yeah.
you know,
And
physically,
emotionally.
emotionally,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's.
Did anybody steal any money from Kanye? Because I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
What's
with him.
going on with Kanye? I know. Kim might have took a little film.
Kim ain't take nothing. Kim ain't take nothing. Okay, that's a whole nother podcast. That's a whole nother podcast. Okay,
Right.
When COVID hit, how did that change the dynamics of the school, of teaching and learning with the kids?
Obviously, COVID had a huge impact on every child in America, and it
yeah.
still does. We gave our parents the option to go virtual or come in person 4 days a week, and so parents were able to choose based on what's best for their family. We probably had a third of our students come in, so it was a really small amount, and then the rest were virtual. All of our students learned on devices. There's pros and cons to that.
It is.
Even
Oh, yeah.
our babies, our young babies, we limited the amount of screen time, and so in the beginning they were on the whole day, and then by the middle of the year they were on till about 12 o'clock because it was just too much. Their
Yes.
attention span.
Yeah.
Students definitely their academic levels plummeted, and you see that in the state standardized tests across the board. But then some students was resilient, and so there are pockets of students that were
Yeah.
resilient academically. Those are the students that are self-driven. Those are the students that can work alone. Those are the students that when they're in school, it's too much for them because it's too many distractions.
Distractions.
And so you have different kinds of scholars, and we know all scholars learn differently. You have students that learn kinetically, that's about physical movement. Students that learn auditorily, that's about verbal. And so you need to be able to teach. A good teacher can teach to all styles of learning. And so that was very challenging while we were going through the pandemic. And then the anxiety. We have many students, unfortunately, that have been impacted directly. They have lost family members.
Yeah.
They have come back to the school and then told us these stories, and then it's still not gone. And so students still have family members that are affected by COVID. Even recently, a scholar in 7th grade, her mom was hospitalized. This was a few weeks ago, and thank God she prevailed and she's out the
Excellent.
hospital. So it's ongoing, to say the least, and we know that about COVID. But then we did have some scholars that stayed home and worked on their businesses.
Oh, yeah.
And Mr. Sean was doing virtual classes with our scholars, and they used that time to build their businesses and flourish in their businesses. And Dariella Sweets was one of those students, and there's some other scholars that they worked on their businesses, and they opportunities opened up, and they used it to their
Advantage.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so. You
yeah.
know, when you got to make lemonade, you just figure out how to make lemonade. And you know, we're working with our scholars that have had some traumas. We have a counselor in the school. We're back fully now, all in person. We have a handful of students that are homeschooled, but that's under 10. And we're pouring back into our scholars. We all have masks on, living through the COVID. Students still, sometimes we have to go virtual in classes or grade clusters, teachers. We're not at herd immunity yet, but we're not that far from it. We got to push through, and tenacity is one of the things that we have to be able to teach our students.
Yeah.
And being an entrepreneur will teach you tenacity.
Tenacity.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things I always tell our students, especially when they fail, is that failure is a part of the process. If you don't fail, you don't learn. And so it's okay for you to fail.
Yeah.
It's okay for you to go somewhere and try to sell your business products and you don't make any money. So let's talk about what happened. Or it's okay for you to be not be able to speak about your business because you're scared, but let's practice that. When we
Right.
have our Young Moguls meeting, every meeting they have to make a speech about their business.
Excellent.
Every single meeting.
Excellent.
What's going on over here? There's a philosophy that says if someone has never made a mistake or failed, they have never tried to be successful.
Facts.
It's part of the equation.
Exactly.
It's the getting down, knocked down, and the obstacle, and getting back up. And that's how you keep going. Yolanda, I'm going to go back to the phone because there are a lot of comments over here. I'm seeing Mama with my 2020 vision. I'm picking it up over here. Start those babies' accounts. Learning banking young is key for the kids and the parents. As a banker, I saw this all the time. I went to teach this in school because there are grown adults who can't bank.
Right.
That is so true.
I was
Bankers won 106. Okay. That's what I was really scrolling for. Okay. And we keep going, Yolanda. All right, there's more people coming.
I was going to say, I bet some of the parents do feel some kind of way when their child comes home and has their business that I know.
I ain't gonna lie about it.
And they haven't gotten that instruction from the parent themselves.
Listen,
do you get? I was going to say, have you had to deal with any kind of?
It hasn't been anything that's just crazy,
right?
But I've had some parents that had doubt.
Yes.
Oh, who's this Mr. Sean talking all this big boss talk, and he's not going to do this, and he can't do this for you. I'm like, here's, take this $800, get your product, give me your receipts, and I got them going. So we've seen it, and then parents become believers because your money, when you put your money to your mouth,
your money where your mouth is.
That's it.
And you know what, Yolanda?
Yeah.
Me being a black man and being a father, okay? There's an ego involved.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
Where everything comes from me. I always joke with Yolanda, we run all the offense.
Yeah.
Everything LeBron. You are Savannah. But we run all, not AD, not Russell. We run all the offense through LeBron. Okay? I'm bringing the ball up around here, mama. I'm pointing and moving people around. So if that was to happen, and you're out of the loop with that, because that's not something you were talking about. That's not something that you did. You didn't instill that. Now you feel like you're 2 steps behind. And then you look at it as, well, this gentleman isn't even your father.
That's right.
And he's
an
taking that
administrator,
lead.
and he sees that in you to do that. Well, why didn't I see it?
Yes.
Why? Or why'd you go to him? Why didn't you come to me? Dad, because you don't have $800 because I asked you. I heard mama ask you for $200 last week. And you cussed her out about that. So I went back in my room and said, I'm going to go to Mr. Shaw. Well, I know
it's funny that you say that. So I'll have kids pull me to the side and they'll say to me, they'll tell me their financial woes and say, hey, my mother doesn't have this, and I'm a single household. My mother's a single parent. She doesn't have this and that. Is there any way that you can give me this money to do X, Y, Z? So I've had a lot of kids do that. So it's they know that this is my opportunity. This is my chance, right? And I'm sitting there like, listen, let's go. It don't matter. It don't matter. Single parent, no parent. Let's go get this money. That's our motto.
Your sense of judgment or discernment, or vetting that out, because knowing that Mr. Sean and Miss Layla have my back, and if I need something, you might have some, and you are teaching these kids to be brilliant. So one of these brilliant students might come in and have a whole plot with their family.
Kind of run that angle on it.
We're going to go see if we can get Mr. Sean. So how do you, what type of discernment do you use to pick and choose who you're going to give?
So normally what happens is I'll sit down with the kid for a certain amount of time.
First of all, they're in your class.
They're in my class. So I know them. I'm with them every day. I know your character. I know what type of kid you are.
You're invested in the class.
In the class and different things. In that nature. So then by that time, I just don't give it to them the first day. I wait a little bit, see what it is, see what's happening, and then I'll say, hey, once I give you this money, I need these receipts. Because I need to know you have this
Accountability.
stuff. Accountability. Need to have the stuff. So the kids will come back, they'll bring the receipts, and then it's like, let's go. So I'll wait a while. I'll wait maybe, some time to really look at the child and see if they're really serious about it. And like I said, you'll see the sparkle in their eyes, and that sparkle lets you know that this child here, he's ready. He or she's ready. Because they're looking at it. You know what? I could become a millionaire.
You're changing their lives.
Yeah.
You're changing their
They
minds.
see it.
And
And
Mr.
eyes on
Sean, he's invested at least well over 100 kids, and I would say out of the 100 kids that he's invested in, maybe 5 it fell flat,
Yeah.
and
Small.
5, 10 that fell flat, and
Yeah.
it wasn't anything unethical, anything like that. The child they weren't able to produce, and that's a lesson. It's not so much a lesson for us because
lesson for
you
them.
can't ever say that we didn't invest in you.
Yeah.
So we invested in you.
Right.
You just didn't choose
Invest
the
in yourself.
investment properly,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
they have to learn it, so they can't come back to us again.
Yeah, they did.
See now, what has happened in the past is we have a group of girls. They call bracelets on the hand, and they make these beautiful bracelets. And he's invested in them more than once because they keep having return on their business, and the investment isn't as big. The first investment was bigger, and then they will make more product, and they haven't had opportunities to sell, so they'll sell out all their product, and they may need to reinvest and so forth. But because we see the work that they're putting in,
Yeah.
they can come back again and say, I just need $100 because I just need string for my bracelet. I already have
Gotcha.
beads and so forth, and so you don't mind giving
Yeah,
that because you
right.
know what
Yeah.
it's doing for
They're
them.
doing- yeah.
But there's no trickery over here because
I know that's
we're blessed. So you might think you tricking us, but it's not going to get you but so far. So
It's, and another reason ain't no tricking over here because we're black. We don't play that. Understand who you talking to. I'm Mr. Talk, but listen,
funny.
And then Mr. Sean, and we all know who the kids that they not paying attention in class, they not focused, they don't think they can be entrepreneurs. It's not every student in the school is going to be successful or even be an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
and
you're
so if that child all of a sudden woke up and said, I want $500, you don't even take notes in the class. Like, I'm not giving you anything.
Exactly.
Keep it moving. Keep it pushing.
Yes.
Keep it pushing.
as it should
Keep
go.
it pushing.
You know who you are? You are the modern day Joe Clark. That's who you are, sir. You are the you are the modern day Joe Clark. You can go in and you can have an energy
Oh yeah.
and a strength where you can make the worst gravitate and listen.
Yeah.
And even though they don't get it, they listen. And the ones who don't get it or won't get it, you can see that too.
Yeah.
And you can do like Mr. Clark, you can invite, what's your name? I invite all of you expeditiously to leave. You're expelled. You can go home.
Absolutely.
Mr. Darnell, get those chains over those doors. We got a 411.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Who told you to change the words of the school song? You loud about that. Boy, that thing's still funny to me. So that's who you are. You are the modern day Joe Clark. And one of the things I like about the school is the energy when you go in. This is what I'm talking about. You remember that hallway?
Yeah.
Remember what's on that wall?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
All of those heroes, those
people
business
that look like them.
That look like us.
Look like us.
Yes.
It's called
I'm on the wall, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? But it's a beautiful thing. And it's not all adults. It's kids up on the wall.
That's
Yeah.
That's making a contribution. So I thought that was big because every time you walk down that hallway,
It gives them inspiration.
big
And they're
time.
able to see
Oh,
not
big
only
time.
people who can inspire them, but then they also see their peers.
That's
see the
right,
peers.
absolutely, absolutely. And that wall is the kids walk into school. So when you get out the car, that's the first thing you
And
see
you
when you
see
come
when
in through
you're
the day.
coming
And
in.
so my next goal is to have it narrated for them to hear the voices in the wall. Can you imagine? Because LeBron's in there, and so they
I
walk in.
saw him. Remember, I went right to it. You remember.
So you want them, like maybe they touch it and all of a sudden it starts talking?
Something I gotta work out all those kids,
Yeah.
but something where they walk in and LeBron says to them, "You can do it today," or something, whatever it is,
That's
Oprah,
phenomenal.
Michelle, or anything like that, and they hear that.
Yeah.
So it's the visual.
Brought out to the
But wait a
school.
minute, though, Yolanda, who gonna narrate?
You're
You got the voice.
You're right.
You got that voice.
That's a voice.
Right.
You got the voice.
$1 million book. I say that on the radio every day. The boy with the $1 million
So think about the impact you're making, so they visually
Oh,
see
yeah.
what they can be, but then they
Oh, yeah.
hear Mr. Tone X voice telling them how their day is going to be, and we could customize. Say today is testing day, so when you go to your class, and I think that's a win-win.
There's testing day. Get your little ass to class.
Exactly.
I like that. Yeah, I like that concept. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Boy, that's incredible. And you can hear, ladies and gentlemen, you can see these beautiful people when they talk about the kids. You see their energy.
They like it.
When they talk about the school, you see their energy. Me and Yolanda have been around administrators, and that's what they are. Administrators.
Yeah.
When they talk about the school, it's so rigid.
Yeah.
They talk about it. It's hard for them to find anything to smile about. They might have one or two kids that they focus in on, but what about the rest of the school?
Yeah.
What about the rest of the kids? What about the rest of the opportunity? And let me piggyback real quick. You were talking about the girls with the beads.
Yeah.
Are those the beads that's out at the store in the hallway? Are those beads?
Yes, we
in-
do have
in
some.
the case?
Yes,
I
it's
saw-
some of them. Some
yeah.
of that
Oh, they was
similar
off the
to what
boat.
you have on your
Yeah,
wrist.
But let me give you a quick background story on them. They were our first entrepreneurs in
They
the school.
were. They were.
So when the CIAA was here, we took them to the CIAA for like 3 or 4 hours.
2 days.
And they did
the
well.
Friday and Saturday.
They made a couple. A couple of keys. They made a stack and went crazy. They was like, oh my God. Yeah, so they went
What age?
crazy. They was in fifth grade. No, they were in fifth grade.
Yeah.
They were in fifth
And they
grade.
sold out of the product they made,
Yeah.
so then they started customizing
Yeah.
bracelets for ladies or whomever that came up, and then they customized them based on the HBCU colors.
Yeah.
And they figured that
They
out
did it
on
on
their
the spot.
own. Like
They was killing it.
They was killing
they
them.
did it on their
They
own.
were doing it on the spot?
On the spot, saying, "Oh, give us 10 minutes,
Oh.
come back, and we'll give
They did
you
it on
a
the spot.
custom
Wow.
AKA bracelet, Zeta bracelet, all of that." And
killing
they
them.
did.
So
They
this was
did.
about 2 years ago, and when they did that, the school went berserk
I bet.
because it was announced on the loudspeaker that they went out there and hit a beyond grand
They
slam.
made so much money that we held their money when we came back to school, because that was over the weekend, and their parents knew. We told them how much
Yeah.
money they made, but we had to distribute it up and count it and so forth. And so we gave them their money that Tuesday, but we called their parents and said, "We're not putting them on the bus. You
It's
need
too
to
much
come
money.
pick
Come and
up.
get 'em.
You
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
come
yeah,
on
too
the
much
bus."
money.
Yeah, we're not putting them on the bus.
Yeah.
So the money's in the envelope because it was 4 of them at the time, and
Yeah.
we said you need to come pick them up, and we'll have the money for you
Yeah.
in the envelope.
And that's real.
That's real.
No. That's very
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Very
You don't you get on that?
that
Some
bus.
people they waiting.
Yeah,
They waiting.
yeah.
Y'all the
Yeah.
girls that sold the beads.
We heard y'all on the last. Give it up.
And the crazy part about it, they became so popular. They were just regular girls when they was started this. Now you had 8th grade girls coming in. Here's $15. Let me get the beads. So they started making money throughout the whole school. They were the first ones that opened up. So when I saw them, when I first came and I saw them, I was like, y'all have this itching, y'all. What's going on? And they was like, we want to do this, and I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna start with you first. So when I grabbed them up, I polished them, got them sharp. I sent them out there, and we never looked back since.
That's phenomenal.
That was it.
Phenomenal.
Because once the kids heard they got that bag, the whole school wanted the
And when you
bag.
get that bag that young,
Yeah.
and it's legit.
Legit.
You ain't got to look over your shoulder.
Shoulder,
You ain't got to
yeah.
worry about nobody. You know what I mean? Big Worm ain't calling you about where my money. It's principalities to this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, grown people. He is boosting me up. Okay, athletic fit. Well, ladies, I'm over here getting boosted up. I'm gonna go home tonight and put a whole. Like, Yolanda, this what we gonna do.
And we going to Mr. Sean.
Like, I'm gonna be like a start up young. Listen, I know you gotta stop at 8th grade, but this is what we this is what we put together last
We're
night.
gonna help
Mr.
you
Sean,
monetize it.
man, look. This has been great.
It has been great.
Here, and sometimes, what do we talk about? We talked about obstacles. We talked about failure, but success. I'm just using that as an analogy where all of you who have still been here with us and supporting us, and you saw how it started off tonight. It was technical problems. We were making sure that we got it right for you so it could be better. We wanted to make sure we got it right for them so it could be better.
And be
And
heard.
sometimes you have to go through little things.
Right.
We could have easily gave up.
Right, but
We
you
could have
keep
told
it
them,
going.
listen, we're going to reschedule y'all because it ain't right. No, we're going to get it right.
Yes.
And with the support of the people and good energy,
Yes.
that's what happens.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be one of the best shows, not just in 2022, but one of the best shows in all of the seasons that we have, because I always say information is the new currency.
Yes.
And tonight you have put some money in somebody's mental ATM, because let me tell you two things that I know is going on right now. Two things I know. There's a parent that is looking at your website
Already.
right now. They heard you say a waiting list, but they're not deterred because they want
Their child.
kid to go to your school. And it's an adult
That's right.
that's got a notebook and an ink pen. Right now.
They heard about their program, that mobile program for the adults.
No. They not. It's not for no kid. They're not coming to see Mr.
No,
Shaw.
I said for the adults.
They are doing this, and they like, listen, man. You know what it is? I need to do it.
Yeah.
That's what they did. They did it.
Yeah.
I need to do it too. I've been sitting here and holding on to something. I just need to do it. I don't know what time me and Yolanda going to bed. Tell them what time.
You talking about
You kidding me? Boy, stop.
And we didn't have parents that were entrepreneurs. So everything that we've learned have been trial and error. Falling on our face and getting back up.
And that's
Every
a beautiful
day.
thing.
Yes, that is the best way.
Yeah, we self-made.
Yeah.
Ain't that the best way?
Yeah, we financed everything from the bottom.
I feel good to say that though.
It does.
Self-made.
Yolanda knows my story with my father, because you were talking about the parents and entrepreneurs. My father was a hustler. So my father would go, say my father made $50,000 on Monday, then he go gamble.
Okay.
Come home to my mom say, where the money at? Cards. But my daddy go to bed and be like, I don't know why you looking like that. Because if I made $50,000 Monday, I get up Tuesday and make
Tuesday
$50,000.
get it back. Yeah, I
But
get
that
back.
mentality is good for him,
Yeah.
but it ain't good for me.
Yeah, it's not.
Because I got this.
Yeah.
And 2 more boys.
Yeah.
Oh, Yolanda, I don't know why you looking like that.
Yeah.
If I made it on Monday, I can make it on Tuesday. Yolanda be like, no, sir.
We did it Monday and Tuesday.
And Wednesday and Thursday. Not a black woman, sir. We need this someday. I need to see some consistency in you for this thing go to the left.
We got to know what it is.
You got to get out there and tell some jokes. Go out there and tell some comedy. Things got to go right here. You can appreciate that. Like you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
When they get on you, man, talk that talk,
Yeah.
and you get in your feelings, and you be like, I ain't trying to hear that right now. But what did you tell her? You said all the offense run through LeBron. So what's she gonna do? Run it through LeBron, and you better get that shooting together.
That's right.
You better go in the gym and get them threes together. Get your throws together. Whatever you make sure you do.
That's right.
Because in the crunch time, you want the ball. You gonna have the ball. But I couldn't have a better person to help me.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm a handful. And I'm a Scorpio.
I'm a Scorpio too.
Get my business together. Two Scorpios together.
I'm Scorpio too.
Yeah.
So you know I got that.
I was the
stuff in
only
me.
child.
Yeah, I got 2 brothers.
So I don't
who are
like to
Scorpios
listen
as
to
well.
nobody.
Oh, wow.
You want to do it my way. You know, Scorpio tell you, I'd rather do it my way and lose
Yes.
than do it your way and win.
Yes.
For the mere fact that I can say,
Yes.
I did it.
Yes.
And
Those
then,
are facts.
and then this come along, and she like that. I got to go to we. We did it. And I be like, you weren't with me when I was shooting in the gym.
I was.
She was.
She said, yeah, I was too. I was too. I was the one outside tooting the whole time. How much longer you gonna be in the gym, boo?
Oh yeah.
But you gotta love it though.
Right.
You gotta love it.
Big
It
time.
takes teamwork.
Oh, yeah.
Teamwork.
Yeah.
Yes.
They say.
And we both make each other better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You better
Absolutely.
sing it, fabulous.
I know.
And Neo,
By myself.
I'm a good old myself, boo.
But we a force when we together.
That's our theme song. I want to go on tonight and play that. Oh yeah, just because.
Well, tonight has been an excellent show.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for having us.
We
Oh, big time.
appreciate you all for being here.
Time for a little feature.
Yeah, it is. Time for that little segment to go into. So why don't you go ahead and hit the button? And so this is a little segment that we do as we're wrapping up the show, and we always ask our guests, and it's called What's Your Thoughts? You gotta say it at the same time.
Mama, okay. I had asked. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
you
do
said it behind me. You
ready?
gotta do it
Let's
together.
go.
Yes.
What's your thoughts?
Okay. So Tom, go ahead. You have that question for him tonight.
The thoughts for tonight is this. In Georgia, they said if a teacher is positive with their COVID test, but they don't have any symptoms, they can come to school and teach as long as they wear a mask. We want to know, with you being administrators and in the school system, how do you feel about that rule for teachers?
If you're positive,
if you're positive COVID test, but what is it? You're asymptomatic, so you don't have any symptoms. All right, you feel good, but the test is positive. You can come into school and you can teach, no quarantine. You can come and teach as long as you wear your mask.
Well, that's not our policy. If you are positive, you need to stay home for 5 days.
Yeah. See you later.
And it was 10, but we just changed it to 5. But you need to stay home for at least 5 days. And we count weekends. And we work with you to determine, when is your 5th day and so forth. So, no, that's not our policy.
I didn't really get that.
Yeah.
Because even if you got a shortage of teachers, you put the kids at risk.
Oh, big time.
Because first of all, you're positive. So you know you're positive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you got a mask on.
Yeah.
But you take it down one time, you talk to a kid because they can't hear you.
Yeah.
You forget to put it on, you move around, you don't know. And then let's say a couple of days later you take a test, you're negative. But now you scan your class,
And all those.
maybe they don't have symptoms, but guess what?
Oh.
They positive too.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
coming.
So do they just put a mask on and come learn?
No.
Right.
No, you're gonna keep them at home.
Yeah.
Right.
But so we was like, wait a minute, Georgia.
No, that
Wait a minute,
that's
Georgia.
risky, and I understand they making these policies because they need people to go back to work, especially in the school system. But the risk is not worth the reward, and the reward is safety and educating our kids and minimizing the spread as much as possible. We do COVID testing in our school. It's not mandatory; it's voluntary. Parents and staff. I mean, not parents, students and staff, but parents have to approve for the students, and we do it every week. And that has helped us a lot catch cases, and we've been doing it for about 2 or 3 months now. We'll continue to do it as long as we can. And it's really beneficial. And, even for the staff, I get tested weekly. It helps me to know as I move around about.
Right.
And, COVID is real. And for some people, they're able to move through it. It doesn't impact their body as much. But then other people, it's a real
it's taking
tragedy.
them
And
down.
long COVID is real.
Yes.
And so you need to be respectful of your staff. I started ACE Academy, or we started ACE Academy, but ACE is nothing without its teachers. Nothing without its teachers. And between teaching and parenting, those are the 2 hardest jobs in life. And in order for you to be an effective teacher, you need to be someplace where you feel loved and appreciated.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying ACE is perfect, but we pour into
place
our
is
staff.
Oh, yeah.
And I let them know all the time, everybody in this school brings value. My bus drivers bring value because if they didn't drive the bus, my babies wouldn't be in
Get there.
school. My individuals that work in our child nutrition program, I need y'all to feed my babies because there are kids that come to school and
And
they
this is
have
their
not had a
only
meal
Yeah.
since yesterday when
Yeah.
they left school.
Yeah.
And my teachers are the first line of defense pouring into our kids in terms of their self-esteem. And then you have the counselors and the other administrators. And so it's a team effort. And in order for our kids to be future leaders that we want them to be in the community is based on what we show them right now.
Absolutely.
2 words that can change the world. Thank you. 2 words that can change the world.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's just imagine if every school had that kind of attitude. Let's imagine if every teacher and staff member had his kind of wherewithal with these kids. How many times has a student or administrator, an administrator, not a student, gone to the school bus driver and opened the door, tap on the door, and when you open the door, you just say, I just came here to say thank you for what you're doing, and then you move on to the, how many have done that to the teachers when they come, the students, the parents? Man, what you're doing is you are changing the traditional look of learning. and you make black kids feel inclusive. If someone has a picture and they look at the picture and they pass it to you, if you see yourself in the picture, you'll look at it, and then you'll pass it to her.
Yeah.
If I pass you the picture and you don't see yourself in the picture, you put it down or you just pass it to her.
It off.
So many times, black kids in these school systems in this country do not see themselves in that picture, and they know it.
Yeah, of course.
They know it. But I have a feeling that here at ACE Academy, these kids see themselves in the picture.
They do.
They see a bigger picture. You understand? Please give them your website. Please.
www.aceacademycharter.org.
www.aceacademycharter.org.
That's
Yolanda,
right.
this has been.
It's been an excellent show with excellent information. I know, right?
LeBron done won. He ain't got the late game tonight.
Yeah, you good now. You good now.
Good. Oh, this is great, though. This is great.
Thank you so much for having us. We
big
really
time. Thank you,
enjoyed it.
guys.
We
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed
Thank
it,
you.
and we'd love to bring our babies back. Not at 8:00 at night.
Right.
That would be great because the gentleman here, Kirk, who produces the podcast, but he owns
Okay.
this facility.
Lovely.
And there's so many dimensions here.
That's
There's
right.
a production room.
Yeah.
So if they want to see what Dr. Dre does.
Yes.
You can look in here and see that. If you
Right.
got talent, you can play an instrument,
That's
you can
right.
sing, you can go in this room and do
That's
that.
right.
You want to do production,
Yeah.
you want to be behind
Absolutely.
a camera, you want to do TV, he can do that.
That's right.
So, I mean,
We're gonna bring our
everything is
young
here.
moguls here.
Yeah.
Everything
We're
is
gonna bring
here.
our young
Yeah,
moguls here.
because then it'd be
Because if nothing else, they also need to learn about how do they sell their content, how do they promote their business, and so they got to learn that as well. Some of our students have social media, and they post and sell on their
all
social
day.
media and so forth.
Wow.
So,
And then he's an accomplished music artist.
wow.
okay.
Yeah, he's an
Wow.
artist
Okay,
himself.
he's an accomplished music artist. So there you go again, and bringing in the aspect and the energy of Jamaica.
okay.
love
Right.
Where he's from. So
He's an international
you know what I mean?
Love it.
That's
Okay.
wonderful.
Yes, they need to
Definitely.
come and talk to our kids.
Definitely.
There's talent everywhere.
It is.
And
the
if
way
we
you look.
just support each other, we change the world.
Oh, big time.
But
We will.
it starts with us first.
Yeah.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Man, this has been great.
It has been. It has been.
A staff member with Gucci boots. But I want you to understand.
Yeah, you on it.
That's that Bronx coming out.
Straight Bronx.
I want you to understand that this is the new Joe Clark.
Yeah. The straight
This is
Bronx.
Savannah. And they represent ACE Academy, where academics is excellent, but entrepreneurship is key, man. I thank
right.
y'all for coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
We thank
having
you
us.
guys. Thank you for having us to even hear our story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And more people need to
We're
hear.
diamond in the rough out here. So a lot of people know us. They know that we built all these other businesses, but now we're starting to really push this whole thing about our school and our children who have created these great businesses.
Yeah,
been great.
And we're gonna do what we need to do on this end to make sure we help push it and support it.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
People to
you.
know.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm, remember my little gift bag that I got? I'm going to give my son the little backpack, and I'm going to tell him to wear it to school tomorrow.
All right.
Just to start some good shit.
That's right.
Why you got that on, London? Daddy. You right out there in the car, right? Go to the black car and ask my daddy why I got it on. And watch this thing go to the left.
Oh, man.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Well, baby, take us on out. Ain't nothing else
Ain't nothing else to do
but
but that
take us on
music.
out.
Ain't it?
Yeah.
All right, then.
It's a
Peace and
grown
blessings,
man in
beautiful
the
people.
building. I don't
We
think
are
you
out.
ready. Come on.
All right.
We riding on some grown man here. We step into some grown